Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. So today I've got this Daphne Blue Telecaster. I think this was a limited edition or special edition, I should say. Maybe an FSR. At any rate, it's got this double humbucker setup. It's really unique, sounds different, and I'd like to just kind of do an overview of it, take it apart, show you what's inside, and we'll see where this goes. So before we get started today, let me just say, I bought this thing with the strings that are already on it, and they're some kind of nickel wound, really heavy string, which is not my bag. They play okay. I'll try to give you an example of how this thing sounds. So this Telecaster doesn't really sound like a Telecaster, and it doesn't really sound like a Les Paul. It's kind of in between, if that makes sense. It's got a relatively bright sounding bridge humbucker and a really warm neck humbucker. It's an interesting sound, but it's something you'd have to be specifically looking for, I think. Alright, well, if you want to hear more of this guitar, go try to find a video that someone posted who's a better player than me. But anyway, let's go ahead and start tearing into this thing. I really want to see what kind of humbuckers these are, and I'd like to see what other kind of controls and things that they may have installed, because when you have humbuckers in a Telecaster, I'm betting they don't use the standard pot values. Alright, well, I didn't have to take the neck off here, but I just thought I'd give you a full view of what's inside. Neck pocket looks pretty standard. Got that locating hole that Fender likes to include, and it is marked with the Daphne Blue indication of what the paint color is supposed to be. So I think this pick guard would come off around this humbucker ring, but I just want to check that assumption. Alright, well, standard pick guard, except for it is cut to go around the humbucker ring, so that's interesting. Yeah, the body routing looks pretty normal. I'm going to see how it's set up for the humbucker under this ring here. Okay, well, the routing looks good. I mean, it's definitely a newer style body that has the routing that's done after the paint work. But looks like it's using a, gosh, probably a Chinese pickup. I'm not familiar with that maker. It looks like a lot of the less expensive pickups that I've seen on imported guitars. And this is a Mexican model, so that kind of surprises me, but I mean, they don't sound bad. It's just that, you know, they've got kind of thin wiring and some of the hardware is not so great. Well, let's see what the bridge humbucker looks like. Yeah, very similar on the bridge. I'll try to get some still pictures of these so you can see them a little more closely. This is an interesting routing pattern too. I mean, I'm sure it's specific to the HH Telecaster, but there's not like a, you know, a larger cavity that would hold a standard bridge. Okay, well, one other note about the cavities themselves. They are fully shielded. I think that's a nice feature. Let's see what's under this control plate. Okay, well, under the control plate, interestingly, it's got a Oak Grigsby three-way switch, which is not that extraordinary, but I think what's interesting about it is that it's using CTS pots that are 250K. I'm not positive about the volume pot, I'll have to measure it, but the tone pot, you can clearly read the 250K. There isn't shielding that runs, like a shielding wire that runs between these two pots. They're just grounded on the control plate itself. And the capacitor is a ceramic disc capacitor, and it looks like it's 0.05 microfarads. You know, that's actually pretty standard Telecaster control plate, other than being HH. So maybe, I'm guessing, they designed the pickups to be more compatible with 250K pots or something. Maybe they just, I don't know, maybe it's just a standardized thing that they do, but the last thing I'll say is that there is a grounding lug that grounds the shielding in the control cavity to the actual pots of the guitar. So let me just cover the pickups really quickly. The neck pickup is actually a little bit hotter than the bridge pickup on this guitar. The bridge pickup is showing 12.9K of resistance, And the neck pickup shows 13.2. So quick note before I flip this thing over, this thing has Strat saddles and Strat style adjustment of the action. It's got a hardtail bridge. I mean, I assume this is exactly a standard Strat hardtail bridge, but you know, I don't know. I haven't seen too many of them recently. But it is string through body, so if you flip this guitar over, you'll see the standard ferrules that you normally see on the back of a Telecaster. And it's got this belly cut here, which is nice, but I don't know if that's a standard feature or if that's something specific to the special editions, but it is a difference between this and a traditional Telecaster. So let's take a brief look at the neck. It's a 21 fret neck. It's got about a 9.5 inch radius, and it's got this kind of old school vintage Fender logo on the front, the standard Mexican truss rod hole, vinyl lining, whatever you call that. And it's got standard tuners on the back, and it's got kind of a glossy finish on the front side, and it's got a satin finish on the back. Other than that, I would say it's probably a medium C profile, something like that, and it's a nice neck, nice wide frets. Alright, well, this is not a setup episode, but these things set up much like a Strat, and you can watch my videos on that. I've got a lot of quick tip videos you can watch. But I really appreciate when you guys like my videos, when you guys comment, and I most of all appreciate all you subscribers out there. I hope you guys have a happy new year, and I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.